So Jeanett never liked any of the posts that I had made showing these other tiles that I was creating for these two other galleries and a gallery and a gift shop in northern Norway. Let me continue on. But what I mostly wanted was to meet Jeanett. But I wasn't going to count on her interest in the tiles I made of her to be the only reason I made the trip to Norway. I wanted a relationship with someone, and my friends in Lofoten had not presented me with any of their female friends. Now, I shouldn't say that 100% certainty, because one of these friends, the one friend that owned the gallery with her husband, that operated this art gallery with her husband, she did introduce me. She sent me a message encouraging me to check out this ceramic artist who lived near Stamsund, and she didn't say anything other than that. So by her doing that, of course, I was interested in checking this ceramic artist out, who was a woman about my age or so, and I started to follow her, thinking, possibly wondering, maybe she's suggesting that I should maybe become friends with this woman, and I did try to become friends with this ceramic artist. And over 2 years following her, then I took my trip to Stamsund, to Lofoten, the following September, after this friend who owns this gallery in Lofoten, after she indicated that you should check this woman out. So and I had been liking her pictures and sharing her posts, and she was liking my pictures and sharing my posts. But it appeared she had a child. It appeared, and it also appeared that she maybe was in a relationship. So it was a little bit confusing. I know there's all different types of alternative relationships. Some people, especially in Norway, it's not always the same as it is here. Some husbands, some boyfriends and girlfriends, Some people who have a child together will still remain friends, but they're not married. So it was unclear to me whether or not she was interested. This friend that owns this gallery wanted me to check out this artist because maybe she was single and maybe I could be a potential, friend, become a friend and could start a relationship with her, or possibly, maybe it was just an artistic kind of creative friendship. So I was interested. The woman was very interesting and attractive, and a successful ceramic artist. So that it made sense that I would show interest. And it's one of those things, you show interest and you try to see if this is something that the other person's interested in. I went up and met her. A weird, unfortunate thing happened when I went to meet her. I met her briefly, and then she said to come back that evening, and we were gonna create something together. This is near Stamsund, and while a couple hours after I had left and was exploring around Stamsund, waiting to come back that evening to make art with her, her mother was killed in a car accident that day. She sent me a message telling me that. So we didn't meet, and of course that was very upsetting, and. So after that, I tried to continue some creative work, including her, and I got the sense that she was in a relationship. So, but I had to try because it looked like an interesting possibility, and she looked like a very interesting person. So so as I'm telling this story, I wanted a relationship with someone, and my friends in Lofoten had not presented me with any of their female friends, except that particular female friend. Other than that, I'm a single man, exhibiting on my social media pages interest in women. So it's one of those things you don't talk about, but people kind of are thinking for each other, maybe trying to create possibilities. But with my friends in Lofoten, it had become pretty much, it felt like an open-ended kind of friendship. I could create this art if these tiles I was creating for them, these seashell soap dishes that I made using seashells I found on the beach in front of their gallery. it was a very relaxed kind of, hey, if you want to make these, you can kind of. It seemed like it was like that, because no one wants to give pressure. I'm in the United States, how it's not like a big economic kind of I wasn't going to like be supplying them with lots of tiles. This was like a fun kind of exploration kind of possibility. So this friendship I had with them was open-ended, but I still created about 2 dozen of these different kinds of soap dishes and was going to go give them to them. But it was like a very relaxed kind of a thing. But it was a big part of my plan to go to Norway in March, because not only was it exciting for me to go there in March for the very first time, to go to Norway in a month other than September, because it would be impossible for me to go to Norway for any extended period of time from May, all the way until September because of my business. So it was exciting to go to Norway in March. It was exciting to go up to Lofoten and meet and deliver these tiles possibly for the first time in winter, and for the first time to have my tiles in a gallery in Norway. It was exciting. It was like, that was a trip to Disney World for me. Even though it was a lot of work and an expense on my behalf to make the tiles and to go there, that was still fun for me. That was my trip to Disney World. And then my trip to Oda became part of this trip I was taking in March. If Jeanett was going to say, yeah, I'll meet you, and you can give me the tiles. And as I'm saying here, but the idea to bring the tiles I made to be sold in Norway was very exciting for me. And driving to Lofoten in March was more than a good enough reason to make my trip to Norway. I love to drive in Norway and explore and to see everything and to go to new places. I wouldn't even have needed to have tiles with me to do that, but that was an extra special thing to bring. Gave me an extra kind of business incentive kind of reason to go. At some point before I made the trip to Norway in March 2018, I had been researching Oda, the town that Jeanett called home. I was not thinking that I would ever meet Jeanett before I asked her if I could deliver the tiles to her. I didn't know what was going to happen, As she was showing interest, as I was creating them, in the back of your mind, you would hope it was an exciting prospect to think that maybe I could eventually give these to her. Maybe it was something I was going to save until September the following year. I didn't think I couldn't get too excited I couldn't let my expectations or thoughts get too ahead of me. I was interested in creating them, and as Jeanett continued to show interest from the first tile I made to the second to the third, and I kept kind of showing her based on the the 3 types of tiles I created of her, the one of her holding the fish, then the one with her and her son, and then the one with her on the rock. I was kind of trying to show her that I find you very interesting, and this is something special that I'm doing, that I want to share with you, because I want to because I really find you attractive, and I would I want to tell you that with me there are some possibilities that exist, that I really would like to spend a lot of time with you, like the rest of my life with you, if you're interested. And here are some of the clues I'm showing you to tell you that here's why, and here's some proof of how I feel about exploring this idea. And as she continued to show interest in these, as I was showing her that here I'm doing a tile of you and your son, because how many times do men show so much interest in single mothers? I was showing her that I want to care about you in those ways if you're interested, and she showed interest. So I continued. I was not thinking that I would ever meet Jeanett before I asked her if I could deliver the tiles to her. As a single man, 39 years old, I had learned to be skeptical with all women I found interesting. So I began learning about Oda, Norway, because I was making tiles of Jeanett. And of course, the hours spent creating these tiles of her caused me to think about her. In Oda,